Kia ora, beautiful world. How are we? My light is pretty dark today because it's stormy outside. Ready, stormy. Just gonna try and turn this light so it comes a little closer. Hey. My name is Madeline Lee. I am from Ride Your Stigma. Good morning. It is a bit dark today, so I do apologize. Need to obviously get a better light to record lives with. I'm just going to share the live and then we will post some messages for our beautiful Friday. Also, don't mind my allergies. I'll be sniffing a little bit today. My allergies are getting to me a lot. So we'll just share the live. If you're joining us, say kia ora, morena. I'd love to know that you are here on this beautiful Friday morning. Super stormy outside, as you can see. The foggy window behind me. The ocean is roaring. The Mother Nature is alive. Got the candle going so that it is nice and relaxing and beautiful warm light. Okay, just going to check that it has shared into the group correctly. Let's check it out. Sure is. Where all go. Needing to remember to breathe a lot at the moment, guys. To know about you, but just so much going on in life, so much exciting, so much changing and moving. Okay, let's come back to focus and our devoted attention here together. So firstly, if you're new to this space, my name is Madeline Lee. I am from Ride Your Stigma. Today we are going to do some messages for our Friday. Got some cards. Yesterday we dropped the magical soul healing starter pack. It is an absolute powerful but simple space to learn about your own spirituality, your own intuitive healing, and your gifts. So if you have been for a while almost on edge or in between on the fence about learning about your spirituality, your more natural, intuitive, deep heart core healing, but you don't know where to start and you're like, I don't know if spirituality is really for me, or don't know if it's your thing and if you align with it or not, but you've been intrigued or interested in, I suppose, dipping into the spiritual world and intuitive healing, more natural approach from our core, from our center, from generational stuff to past lives to inner child, shadow work, all the things and all the bits and pieces around spirituality. This course is exactly what you need. I created the Soul Healing Starter Package because when I started on my spiritual journey, and even prior to that, when I would hear words like inner child, shadow, transcendence, realms, things like that, I would always, I knew the words, they were familiar to me, but I was like, what the what does that actually mean? Like, what does it actually mean? I don't really get what it means. And I suppose it's because it's more complex than just a definition. It's not like just saying the definition of a speaker is music comes out of the speaker, we use it to blah, blah, blah. It's not a simple definition. Like, in spirituality, there is so many different ways of doing things, and there is not one right way and one wrong way, in my opinion. For example, when we step into inner child healing and inner child work, there's not one way to do an inner child healing or inner child work, if that makes sense. Everyone has a different approach and a different way, a different perception, and so many mentors, entrepreneurs, healers out in the world will all have different ways and similar ways of doing the internal healing. So as I am coming to the end of my intuitive healer and life purpose activator certification with reality awareness, I was like, oh, we had a training, and my mentor was like, well, why don't you put a package together with some of the tools, some of the foundational tools and healing things that we use in the space into a package. So I sat down and I was like, well, to be honest, the biggest thing that I suppose delayed me on my journey and was confusing for me stepping into spiritual and intuitive healing was I didn't understand the big words. And I was like, cool, so like people always talk about like inner child or shadow and this and that, and I don't, like, I know the words, like I can kind of relate something to it, but I was like, but what does that even freaking mean? Like, how do I do that? How do I actually understand what inner child is for me, and what is my inner child? Where does she come from? What does it mean? Is it even important, or is it just because back then I didn't even understand how important it was and how much it could change and transform in my reality life, how I feel every day, the freedom I live in, the happiness I live in, etc. And I didn't really understand, I think because I have lived such a mainstream societal way for my whole life, that we go to the doctors, we fix it, blah blah blah, we take medication, we go to a counsellor, and then we go away, and that's really all I learned. And then I was like, so there's nothing else. Like, I kind of lived in a box, and I was like, oh, like there's nothing else to really do in healing. Like, we go, we take a medication, and then we walk away, kind of thing. And you know, there is mindset too, like with my mindset coaching certification, etc. But when I stepped into the spiritual space, the reason I created the Soul Healing Starter Package is because when I started to step into this space and discover and learn, and half the time I started to step into the space and I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna step into this space and I'm just gonna try it out. I don't know, I'm confused, but whatever, I'm gonna try anyway. And I never understood like some of these foundational tools and processes and practices that are in the Soul Healing Starter Package. So if you are on the fence and you're like, oh, I kind of want to learn a little bit more about natural, intuitive, spiritual healing, but I'm a little bit nervous. We also go through in there about the stigma that there is out there, or the belief that spirituality can be scary and dark and shadows and all of these things and stuff like that, because that's something I was like, oh, like, is it just all dark? Is the darker side of ourselves and our spirituality, is it just dark and bad and heavy? You know, like there's a stigma or a judgment around it. So I tune into a bit of that. So the Soul Healing Starter Package is $777, guys. I am open to talking about payment plans, so if that is a challenge for you, do feel free to send me a private message if it feels really aligned for you. I have popped the link in the description as well if you want to check out the ins and outs of what's in the Soul Healing Starter Package a bit deeper. You can send me any messages any questions, totally open to them. The doors opened yesterday, so go and check it out. Go and see if it's something for you. It may not be for you, but I know that it was meant to birth so that people that want to understand their spiritual and intuitive healing and learn how to do the healing internally for our mental space, for our emotions, for our generational, for our pain, for our upset, our anxiety, our stress, all of those things. This was meant to birth for you so that you could step into, and I almost wanted to call it like a beginner's soul healing starter package, but in the same breath, yes, it is perfectly designed for people that are new to spirituality and intuitive healing, but at the same time, maybe you already know your way of spirituality, but you want to spruce it up, refresh it, and give it another crack because you've lost those processes in the busyness of life, or you've disconnected from them and you want to reconnect with them. So that has launched yesterday and it's super delicious. So get in there if you're interested, ask me any questions. Otherwise the link is in the description of the live today. Otherwise we're going to pull some cards. So if you were joining us live, feel free to put a yes please into the comments. I have 2 decks today. I wanted to use my new deck. I got the Romance Angels by Doreen Virtue this week. But what was really calling me was the Rose Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. These are absolutely stunning cards. Check out the back of them. So if you would like a card today, feel free and welcome to put a yes please in the comments. I'm just checking if my share of my live is okay. Otherwise, we're going to start with some collective messages, whatever messages want to come through today. Let's see, baby, let's see. So, Rose Oracle by Rebecca Campbell has really cool today. The artwork on these are fucking incredible, man. They're beautiful. And don't mind my sniffing. I've got allergies this morning, so it's all a bit moist. There's wet weather out there. I'm all snuffly. It's a moisty morning. If you're joining us, say kia ora, say morena. Let me know how you are feeling and where you're coming in from today. Let's see what messages we have to come through today. Oh, there's an instruction card in here that doesn't need to be in there. Let's see. The wind is very strong out there today. Rapture, sensuality, love, devotion, romance, ecstasy, pleasure. Let's see with this lighting, I don't know if it's going to see. So if you can't quite see that clearly, I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. Excuse me. There is a woman. Oh, these cards are incredible. There's like so many layers to it. So there is a woman over here with her mouth open, like not screaming, but more like sexy. That was going to be like a screaming face. It's like a pleasure face almost. She's over here. You can see her hands. To me, straight away, It looks like a type of rose or flower in the middle, but for me it definitely looks like vulva, like a vulva lips, like how we see vulva lips in, you know, fruit and things like that, and flowers and things like that. There is another face or person at the top here. It's got their head going sideways. I just feel like, like here when it says rapture, sensuality, love, devotion, romance, ecstasy, pleasure. All I can hear is the ecstasy, pleasure today within this. It's like almost like, I want to say like, like whatever, you know, when we force something or we're really, really frustrated and we're really trying to open something, so whether it's like physical or say we're really, really itchy, so we've got like a skin thing and we're really, 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 really itchy and we can't help it. We're like, oh, we're like itchy until we get relief, but then it's almost like a pleasurable relief. It's not just like, oh, I'm relieved, but it's like a sense of, so you could relate it, I suppose, to like an orgasm or something like that, so a pleasurable release. But I don't feel like that's really, like, you can relate it to that, but I feel like it's more of like an intense satisfaction. But satisfaction is not the word. It's not big enough. It's not the right word. It's like maybe it is. I want to say like sensations. So like where in your life, whether it's in physical touch and sensations, or whether it's like sensations within your mind or your emotions or your psyche or your I want to say like, can you allow it to rupture? Can you allow it in? Can you actually trust, and can you move? Really hot. Can you allow the pleasure? Can you allow, it's like when we say can you allow love into you? So similar to that, but I want to talk about like sensation, heaps about sensation. So it could be like physically bringing more sensation and allowing it or giving it permission to come out for you, or come through, maybe not come out, but come through for you. Really surrender. Yeah, maybe that's the word I was looking for. So like surrender to the pleasure. Like even if you feel fearful, insecure, or confidence is knocking you sideways, or you feel uncomfortable in the emotion sense of like approaching something in a different way, really surrendering to trusting, surrendering to letting go of expectations of outcomes, and knowing that it's worth the risk of like rejection or someone else having a different aligned point of view or something, because it's worth still speaking up. I want to say it's worth speaking up in a sense of expressing, maybe it has come back to sexuality and like intimacy, that it's worth expressing what you need, what you want, what you desire, even if it's weird, wacky, or wild, or it's out of the ordinary, and you have a feeling maybe the other person or potential person may not align with it because it might be different. It may be different than the norm. I want to say like trust and surrender and step into it, because it's almost like if you can do that and then speak up and conversate about it, communicate about it, express it, it's like wouldn't it be delicious? And it can be delicious and pleasurable, and it can feel like ecstasy, and it can feel so releasing if we just choose to speak up, because no one's going to know. It's like if we don't express what we like, what feels good to us, what we desire, what feels good to us, sensations and all of that jazz, that's all I can Yeah, one fell out. If you guys are joining us today, if you are live and you would like a card, do chuck a yes please into the comments. One card just fell out, but I feel like there's one more message, so I'm just going to keep shuffling for a moment. Gosh, the storm is so beautiful. I love stormy weather. If you are joining live and you would like a message today, just pop a yes please into the comments. It's because my messages aren't coming up somehow. So Star has been commenting, but for some reason I'm not getting the message on my phone. Kia ora, Star. Star says, bang on Mads, feel this card deeply. Hey, beautiful. Let's see if I can just open these comments and I'll just have to refresh. I copied the link at the top of the live a little bit differently than I normally do, so I'm wondering if that's not showing the messages for me, the comments. Okay, one more card. Let's see what we have. So one that jumped out, guys, the child within, inner mother, innocence, gentleness, tenderness. I don't know if it needs to be over here a little bit more, the light. I'm going to read this one from the book today. The child within. The child within. Let's see what our book says today. 68. The child within. Inner mother, innocence, gentleness, tenderness. We can be so hard on ourselves, expecting to heal according to a schedule and beating ourselves up when we make a mistake. The rose wants us to release all hardness from our bodies and all hurt from ourselves, to find a way to soften, to remember that no matter what has happened, is happening, or will happen, we're all innocent children of the stars and the earth. The flowers are here for us. They are a safe They are a safe, soft place to remember. They want you to nurture the child within. This is a card of gentle reassurance and compassion. It brings a message of gentle understanding and tenderness. It's reminding you to treat yourself like the innocent child that you are, to take your inner child and let them rest deeply in the soft petals of your heart. We all have a child within us who at some point went into exile because they were hurt or because the world didn't feel safe. And no matter how much we've grown, when we as adults are hurt or triggered, it's normal to regress to this age and feel overwhelmed by the original emotion. And while we can't change the past, what we can do is scoop up the child within and place them in the soft petals of the rose of our own heart. Soul inquiry. How can you tenderly tend the child within? So big inner child stuff here. So if you are just starting your spiritual journey and wanting to learn more about your inner child, this is part of my new Soul Healing Starter Package, learning about your inner child, who he or she is, and discovering how you can work on healing your inner child, supporting and building a relationship with your inner child. Inner child is so big. It's like, I never knew how big it was until I started doing it, and even now I'm like only still in the, I suppose I'm in the middle of my inner child healing, if that makes sense. And just even knowing that when we get anxiety and fear and discomfort and upset, etc., in our inner child, in our adult self, it's related to our inner child. It's tied in there from our past experiences, and it comes out in our triggers in our adulthood, until we comfort and work through it and support our inner child self. So the last card that I just pulled before, release the petals. I nearly said pearls, wonder why. Release the petals. Transformation, death and rebirth. Shedding, all change. Always deathing and rebirthing. I feel like over the last 6 months, I can't even count how many times I've deathed and rebirthed. I feel like even every month with my menstrual cycle and my feminine cycle, I feel like I death and rebirth every 4 weeks. Like it just, and I up level in a different way. So I want to say, release the petals. So again, like the message today is surrender from the other card, but today also I feel like this is talking about, I hope you can see that a little bit better in the light that way, but release the petals, transformation, death, rebirth, shedding, all change. Like I want to say, I just keep on hearing really loud, like surrender, like really surrender. So it's like stop fighting, not stop fighting and give up, but it's like stop trying to fight against your intuition. Stop trying to fight against facing the things. It's almost like that resistance. Like, can you choose to let go of that resistance, surrender, and step into, like, I think that's where the release of the petals is coming. Like, can you, or are you willing to? It's not even are you ready, because I feel like in every moment we are ready. That's what I want to say today. You're already ready right now. It's like this message today is like, there's no such thing as, oh, I'll do it when I'm ready. Like, yeah, we need more time to grieve sometimes and process, and sometimes we're going through shock and things. So yeah, sometimes we need more time. We need more time, or we need more rest, or we need more time to grieve or cry or process or integrate the things. But I also want to say today, it's like, are you willing to surrender into what are you resisting at the moment? What have you been resisting? What have you been pushing away? What have you been saying you'll do later? Or you'll do it when this happens, or you'll do it when that happens. It's like, where can you choose to step into surrender of trusting and moving towards that thing, even if you're pulling away and you're like, no, but you know that's exactly what you need to do. Trusting your intuition. That's definitely what I want to say. Is just like trusting your intuition. She's got like this beautiful, it's like a whirlwind of like, if you choose to and you're willing to, like, own it, be honest with yourself, and really like step into the surrender of trusting rather than sitting in resistance all the time, or like still holding it there, like fighting it, resisting. A beautiful whirlwind starts to like an energy vortex. I want to say like it just starts to go, oh, okay, yeah, I'm coming up, okay, this can change, it's transforming, and then there will be times where it goes really fast and we might fall down and it's like a death, and then it's a rebirth again, and then we're going to grow and we're going to grow up, and we're going to keep up leveling. Every time that we end up down, it's like, oh, we're going to go up again. So it's okay to come through and to surrender. Star says, ready versus willing, big difference in self-ownership and accountability. Yes, not a case of being ready, but being willing. Yes, death and rebirth periodically. Yeah, beautiful. I think that I love what you share there, like ready versus willing, big difference in self-ownership and accountability. Yes, not a case of it. Yeah, and then in like another mouthful, I also want to say there is times that certain things aren't right for us, but I still wouldn't call that I'm not ready, if that makes sense. I think when we say, oh, I'm not ready, I just think it actually annoys me when people say, oh, I'm not ready. I'm like, well, no, you just say, I don't want to do it, because you don't want to do it and you're not willing to do it, and that's okay. It's not obligatory, you don't got to do it. But if this is what you want, if that path is what you want, and you want to grow through that, and you want to live in peace and freedom and emotional mastery and happiness in your life and purpose, and live on your own terms, have a highly vibrant life and learn how to flow through all the emotions, you got to be willing to do it. And it's like when we say, oh, I'm not quite ready, like, yeah, maybe you're not ready, or maybe just, I feel like sometimes there is a space where we can use I'm not ready because we genuinely are not ready, but it's very minor that's genuine. A lot of the time I feel like the word or the phrase is misused, like people use it almost like as an excuse for not actually saying what's in here. Like people will say, oh, but I'm not quite ready yet. And I'm like, well, actually you're not. It's not that you're not ready, it's that you don't even want to do it and you're not going to do it. So don't say I'm not ready, just say no thank you, it's not for me. And that's okay. But maybe that's my own personal trigger with commitment and abandonment stuff, because people will tell me, oh yeah, I'll do it later. I'm like, you're never going to do it later, that's a lie. Like, you're not going to do it later, just say no thanks, I'm not going to do that. Don't even say I'm probably, but you're not, like internally, are you going to do it later or no? So it's the same kind of thing, like when you say, oh, I've had quite a few people actually tell me things like, oh Matt, I'd really love to do one of your courses one day, like when the time's right, when I'm ready, blah, blah, blah. But I think they mean that as a compliment because they like what I'm doing, but I don't think that specific, some of those people actually specifically, genuinely, hopefully want to step into that space and do the work. It's like a far-fetched dream, but it's not really like it's almost like they feel like they're obligated to say that to compliment my work, but they don't actually, that's not really aligned with them. It's not really what they are into. It's not their way of life, and that's okay, because we're all on our own journey, and the work that I do, it doesn't work for everyone. It's not for everyone. It's the same as anything. We all have a different choice of life and what lights us up, and not everyone's gonna like it. That's how life goes. We're all different. Star says, I'm not ready, avoidance. Whoa, that car just jumped out. Oh my gosh. I'm not ready, avoidance and bypassing the real reason. Yeah, baby, that's exactly what I'm explaining. Excuse versus valid reason. Yeah, I get quite short and choppy with that too, because I just would rather people just say exactly the truth. I don't want to waste time having conversations with people or supporting people or helping people to do things. To me, it's wasting time or energy or resources or something. Like if people genuinely don't like, just say if you don't want. I don't like, it's like It's like when you go to someone's house and say you're allergic to Brussels sprouts and you're not going to eat them, but then the person at the house is cooking Brussels sprouts and they're like, oh, would you like some? And then you're like, yeah. But then they put it in front of you and you're just like putting it in the bin behind you. And I'm like, well, you just tell them, don't be a pain in the ass by saying that you like them and that you're going to eat them and making out and then you waste them. Like, just say, well, no, I don't like them. Thank you very much. I love the offer. That was really sweet. But don't waste the energy and time of that person, and they're probably slaving over the kitchen cooking it, and then they've used their money and their time and their effort when you could have just said, what a weird analogy, when you could have just said, no, I'm allergic to them or I don't like them. Star says if they were into it, they'd be doing it. Exactly. And then some people would also say to that Star, what did you say? If they were into it, they'd be doing it. Yeah. And then there is like different phases as well within that. I would say there definitely is, well, for me anyway, there's different phases of just that wherever we are in our journey, sometimes things fall into place for us, and then other times they're not. They're not, and then we actually have to make a decision to decide that we actually want it as well. Because I can hear again people being like, well, I'm not quite ready financially, and I'm too busy doing too many things at the moment, so I can't really fit it in time-wise, etc. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, but if you really want it bad, you'll do it. You'll find a way. You know, we find a way when it's really aligned for us, and that's okay. And then sometimes it's just not aligned for us until later on. And then you might come back 2 years later and you go, shit, 2 years ago, I thought that shit was stupid and hippie and whack and la la la. And then I've come back now and I'm like, wow, I really want to do this. I want to do this now. I'll do anything to get there, to make the time and the money and the space. Okay, so another deck, guys. Just wanted some other messages from it today. Passion. So it's about passion and sensuality, pleasure, ecstasy today, guys. Passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Passion and pleasure, baby. That's all I can hear today is like really where can you bring in like sensual essence? Where can you, or maybe you already have. I feel like I definitely have in the last week. There's been some stuff in my personal life where all it has been is pleasure and passion. It's like the message of where can you, and it might be, I want to say it might even be just starting with self-care again. Like, is there something that you haven't done in a really long time that makes you feel sensual, sexy, alive, beautiful, stunning? It makes you feel on top of the world. And I do think I mean in a sense of physical appearance or feeling, but it's also very, very internal as well. And here, like, when we feel like we could strut our stuff and feel really, really and just feel really delicious in our heart, and no one else needs to think that we look pretty or sexy or luxurious, but it's about the feeling of surrendering into pleasure and deliciousness. Yeah, make the effort. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Let me read this one from the book. What did you say, Star? Star says, find a way or make a way. Exactly. So relevant to what I've been sharing into lately. My pleasure post was removed yesterday as spam, but you felt pleasure from it, I hope. Pleasure of sharing it as well. That's so big, eh? There's messages and everything, baby. 57. Let's check it. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. You received this card because some action steps on your part are necessary in order for your prayers about your love life to be answered. The angels have opened the doors for you, and now it's time for you to walk through them. The first thing that comes to mind with respect to taking action is a good starting place for you. The first thing that comes to mind with respect to taking action is a good starting place for you. When you ask for spiritual help, you always receive. Often this help comes in the form of intuitive guidance, which consists of repetitive feelings and thoughts. You get the sense that you should do this or that. You received this card as a nudge to actually take that action. You'll then receive the next piece of the puzzle, meaning another intuitive message about what to do. If you like, you can ask the angels to give you the motivation, courage, time, and energy to take these steps. Know that each one brings you closer upon the pathway to great love. So I definitely feel like this is talking about what is the next step, like just do each little step, and each time we've done that step, then the next one will come in and the next one. Star says, I did find pleasure in sharing it. Good, beautiful, I love that. Yes. But yes, that last message, guys, I think is today is about just take the next aligned step. Like where can you step into now, and then you decide on the next step when the next step comes. It's like take this step, and then when we take that step and we step into that one, then we can step into the next one, and then we can step into the next one. It's like goal setting too. I feel like it's like goal setting, like, yeah, we have this big aim of like 5 or 10 years, but we don't need to be keeping on, like, of course it's in the back of our head, that 5 or 10 year plan, but focusing all the way down there, all the way over there is not going to help us in the current moment. It is in a background way, but if we can focus on, okay, today what have I got to do? What do I need to do? Where do I step to next? What action do I take next? What do I need to do in this moment? Okay, I need to have a shower. Oh, then I need to eat breakfast, and then I need to go to work, or then I need to do this, and I'm going to meditate today, or I'm going to dress the kids and get them to school. Like, what do you need to do in each moment that build into our 5 or 10 year, you know? Okay, beautifuls, I'm gonna love yous and wish you a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Enjoy the stormy weather. It is so stormy here. It is beautiful at the moment. I'm loving the alive nature. I don't really want to be outside in it, but it's beautiful to listen to and watch from here. If you want to check out my Soul Healing Starter Package, all the details are in the description and the link. Otherwise, send me a private message. If you want to know some more information, or you're on the fence about it, or you want to know what you're going to learn, bits and pieces, that is $777. Payment plans I am open to discussing, so if that is a challenge that you are also working through at the moment, feel free to send us a message and either reconnect your spiritual journey or start your spiritual journey that you have not discovered in this reality yet. Sending you all love, and we will see you next week. Bye bye.